What if I told you that one of the biggest financial empires of the 21st century was built on nothing more than trust, and when that trust vanished, billions of dollars disappeared overnight? This is the story of Sam Bankman-Fried, a man once hailed as a genius, a crypto king, and even a future Warren Buffett, until it all came crashing down. FTX wasn't just another crypto exchange. It was the second largest in the world, a platform used by millions, backed by celebrities, politicians, and some of the most powerful investors alive. And yet, behind its glossy facade lay a web of risky bets, hidden debts, and reckless decisions that would lead to one of the greatest financial collapses in modern history. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on how it happened, why it matters, and what the fall of FTX reveals about the fragile world of cryptocurrency. Sam Bankman-Fried was no ordinary young man. Born in 1992 to a pair of Stanford law professors, Sam grew up in a household where debate, logic, and intellectual rigor were part of daily life. Dinner table conversations weren't about trivial matters. They often revolved around ethics, philosophy, or the mechanics of law. From an early age, Sam absorbed this environment, sharpening his mind and learning to question systems. At school, he displayed the kind of raw intelligence that marked him as different. He excelled not just in math and science, but in the ability to analyze problems from unusual angles. When most children his age were worried about video games or sports, Sam was already fascinated with puzzles and probability. His talent earned him a place at MIT, where he studied physics. But while physics provided structure, equations, and intellectual satisfaction, Sam found his true passion elsewhere: trading. It was during his time at Jane Street Capital, a highly selective Wall Street trading firm, that Sam discovered what he was truly good at. Jane Street was not an easy place to thrive. It was populated by some of the brightest minds in finance, each competing to stay ahead of the market by milliseconds. Here, Sam developed his signature skill: spotting inefficiencies in global markets and exploiting them through arbitrage. By buying crypto low in one country and selling it high in another, he was making millions before most people his age had even finished grad school. This success, however, was not enough. Sam was restless. He didn't just want to trade on someone else's platform. He wanted control. He wanted influence. He wanted to build something that would change the very landscape of global finance. The stage was set for his next move. In 2019, Sam Bankman-Fried founded FTX, a cryptocurrency exchange designed to stand apart in a crowded field. Unlike its rivals, FTX was marketed as an exchange for sophisticated traders, offering tools that were more advanced and more creative than anything else on the market. While other platforms dealt mostly in simple buying and selling, FTX introduced tokenized stocks, futures, prediction markets, and complex products that captured the attention of ambitious investors. Growth was explosive. Within just 2 years, FTX went from being a niche startup to the second largest crypto exchange in the world. It was handling billions of dollars in daily trades, with millions of users flocking to the platform. For venture capitalists, it seemed like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. They poured in billions, eager to be part of what was hailed as the future of finance. Sam himself became the face of this meteoric rise. His image was carefully crafted. An eccentric genius who slept on beanbags in his office, wore wrinkled t-shirts, and seemed uninterested in personal wealth. He presented himself not as a typical billionaire, but as someone driven by a higher cause. He claimed his wealth was just a tool to fund effective altruism, a philosophy that aimed to maximize positive impact in the world. To the public, Sam wasn't another greedy mogul. He was the good billionaire. Celebrity endorsements added to the illusion. Football legend Tom Brady and supermodel Gisele Bündchen invested their reputations in the company, appearing in glossy ads that ran during prime time. FTX even bought naming rights to the Miami Heat stadium. Politicians welcomed Sam with open arms, treating him as a model of responsible innovation in an otherwise chaotic crypto world. By the early 2000s and 20s, Sam had become one of the most influential figures in global finance. His empire seemed untouchable, but beneath the polished surface, the cracks were already forming. FTX wasn't the fortress of financial integrity it appeared to be. Hidden behind layers of secrecy was a tangled relationship between FTX and Alameda Research, another firm Sam had founded years earlier. Alameda was supposed to be separate from FTX, yet in practice, the two were deeply intertwined. Billions of dollars that customers deposited onto FTX for safekeeping were quietly being funneled to Alameda. Those funds were then used to place risky bets, prop up investments, and cover trading losses. Instead of being ring-fenced and secure, customer deposits were treated almost like Sam's personal war chest. This setup allowed FTX to project an image of stability, while Alameda was taking massive risks. To the outside world, FTX looked unstoppable. It was buying high-profile ads during the Super Bowl, sponsoring major sports teams, and pouring money into political campaigns to gain influence. Regulators were impressed. Investors were dazzled. Customers trusted the brand implicitly. In November 2022, the facade cracked. What triggered it was not a dramatic raid or sudden whistleblower, but a single article, a leaked balance sheet from Alameda Research. On paper, it revealed a shocking truth. Much of Alameda's assets weren't backed by real dollars, stable coins, or legitimate holdings. Instead, they were inflated with FTX's own token, FTT. In other words, Alameda's foundation rested on air, tokens created and valued largely by Sam himself. It was as if the entire empire had been built on monopoly money. News spread like wildfire. Confidence, the lifeblood of finance, began to drain almost instantly. Traders, investors, and customers who once praised Sam as a visionary suddenly questioned whether FTX was solvent at all. Then came the blow that sent everything spiraling. Binance, FTX's largest rival, announced it would liquidate its massive FTT holdings. The signal was clear. If the biggest competitor no longer trusted FTX's token, why should anyone else? What followed was a digital bank run of historic proportions. Billions of dollars worth of withdrawals flooded FTX within hours. Customers around the globe, from retail investors to major institutions, scrambled to pull out funds before it was too late. But when they tried, the truth emerged in stark reality. The money wasn't there. FTX didn't have enough reserves to cover even a fraction of the withdrawals. The panic spread faster than wildfire. Social media buzzed with disbelief. Headlines declared the Lehman Brothers of crypto, and investors watched helplessly as billions evaporated in real time. Within a matter of days, the company that had been valued at $32 billion collapsed into bankruptcy. The empire that seemed untouchable had disintegrated almost overnight. Sam Bankman-Fried, once hailed as the wunderkind of crypto, was now accused of orchestrating one of the largest financial frauds in history. After the implosion, the fallout was swift. Authorities, who had once welcomed Sam as a respectable figure in finance, now moved decisively. In December 2022, Sam was arrested in the Bahamas, where he had lived in a luxury penthouse with his closest circle of colleagues. The man who once mingled with world leaders, celebrities, and billionaires was escorted out in handcuffs, his disheveled hair now a symbol of disgrace rather than quirky genius. Extradited to the United States, he faced a mountain of charges: wire fraud, securities fraud, money laundering, and conspiracy, among others. Prosecutors painted a devastating picture. FTX had not simply failed due to mismanagement or bad luck. Instead, it was described as a house of cards deliberately propped up by lies, deception, and reckless gambling with other people's money. The trial became a spectacle. Former colleagues, including Caroline Ellison, CEO of Alameda and once Sam's close confidant, took the stand against him. Testimonies revealed a culture inside FTX and Alameda that was anything but professional. Risk controls were non-existent. Decisions involving billions were made casually, sometimes in late-night conversations with little oversight. Personal relationships blurred with business, and arrogance replaced accountability. Sam's carefully crafted image, the awkward, nerdy billionaire who wore shorts and claimed he only cared about helping others, crumbled under the weight of evidence. The courtroom didn't see a misunderstood genius. It saw a man who had betrayed the trust of millions. The destruction left in FTX's wake was staggering. Billions in customer funds had vanished, leaving countless ordinary investors, people who had trusted Sam's promises, financially devastated. Some had poured in life savings. Others, believing in the hype of the responsible billionaire, had staked futures that now lay in ruins. For many, the loss was not just financial but deeply personal, a shattering blow to their faith in new financial systems. The shockwaves went far beyond FTX itself. Confidence in the entire cryptocurrency industry collapsed. Exchanges once seen as stable faced questions about their solvency. Investors who had been willing to overlook crypto's volatility began demanding transparency and accountability. Politicians and regulators, who had been slow to act, suddenly called for sweeping oversight, warning that the era of the Wild West in finance could no longer be tolerated. The broader lesson is one that has echoed throughout history. In the world of money, trust is everything. Once it breaks, no amount of innovation, branding, or billions in valuation can hold an empire together. FTX was proof that even in a digital age, ancient truths still apply. An empire worth billions can collapse in the blink of an eye, and a man celebrated as a genius one week can be branded a fraud the next. The story of FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried isn't just about crypto. It's about human ambition, greed, and the illusion of invincibility. It's a reminder that behind the glossy promises of innovation, there can lurk the same old dangers of corruption and betrayal. If you found this breakdown of the FTX collapse eye-opening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that shape our world.